Hi, this is Georgia Phone Flies. Today we're going to be tying a Wally Wing Irresistible. Okay, so I went ahead and I mounted a number 12 dry fly hook. I'm going to be using some white thread. I'm going to be using some beige deer hair. You can use gray, whatever light color you have. I also kind of highlighted a little bit of green in the middle, deer hair. I'm going to be using for the Wally Wing, I'm going to be using a mallard feather. And then for the hackle, I'm going to be using some brown feather, and I'm going to be using some grizzly hackle. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do is you want to just tie in the tail. So we're just going to go all the way to the right about to where the gap is, and we're going to tie in some thread. Now you can use white, brown. Get in here pretty good. Okay, now to make the tail, I'm going to take a piece of round hackle. I'm going to snip off the part we're not going to be using. And I'm going to take a piece of the grizzly hackle. Do the same thing. You take the two, put them on top of each other, making sure that they're both arcing the same way because it's going to be like that over the hook. We're going to put the two stems on top, and then we're going to take a nice bunch of it and all mix together. So what I like to do is grab it like that, and trim down right along the stem. Pinch. Pinch it again. And I'm going to tie it in, and you want it to be, you don't want it to be out too far, less than maybe half the hook, a little less. Okay, I'm just going to tie it in so it's not going anywhere. Okay, now next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in some deer hair. Okay, so all we want to do here is I've got the gray. I'm going to grab some small chunks of the gray hair. And I'm going to start right about at the gap. Spin it around and loop it up. Sometimes it gets caught in the gap, but that's okay. I got a packer here, so I'm going to pack it back. Now, let's go back a step and take this off for a second. I skipped a step. It happens. No biggie. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, what we want to do is take a piece of tape. This is an important step. Okay, take a nice big piece of tape here. I'm going to just kind of wet the middle so it doesn't stick to the tail. I'm going to put it right over the tail. And just kind of grab it right on the vise, just like that. And wrap it around. Now we can stack the hair. Okay, so grab a small chunk of the hair. Oh, that's a lot there. Let's grab some. There we go. And loose. Tie it around here so it pom-poms up. There we go. And again, sometimes it gets stuck in the back. If that's the case, if it wraps around the hook, just poke it out with the okay, we're going to take the stacker, push it back. Alright, and grab another small group of this here. Put it right there, drop it in, wrap it around, so it wraps up. Stack it back. Now what I like to do here, do a couple extra turns here. And I'm gonna take some green. You could just do the whole thing with, you can do the whole thing with the gray or the beige. I just like to break it up a little bit and give it a little color. Okay. Stack it back. Got a little more. Okay, and this should do it. So we're going to pull all this back here. And we're going to get this thread out of the way. Okay, the thing I've done a bunch of times already, especially when I was learning how to tie this fly, I always seem to cut the thread. So you want to be real careful and real mindful of where the thread is in the tail. Don't try and trim it perfect the first time. Just get that extra hair out of there. And the shape I'm going for on here is just like this. Just like that. I want flat along the bottom of the hook and the body to be kind of angled toward the back. And the whole thing tapered off to the tail. Keep in mind, we're not doing a deer hair popper here, so we really want to trim this down. Okay, now. And you can do this if you're used to doing deer hair with a razor blade, that's fine. Since this is small, I like using the scissors. Okay, I'm just gonna brush it up a little bit, kind of fan it up. You want to kind of clean it up now because it's hard to do this when you add the wings. Just trim a little more off the bottom. And that should do it. Okay. That should do it right there. So we should be able to pull this off now. Get to our tail. See our tail is still in there. What we do, make sure we got any other trimming going on. And clean it up right here. Okay, a nice pretty green stripe on there. Again, you don't have to do it with the stripe. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the thread, I'm going to wrap it back. And I'll go a little bit into the deer hair to kind of build up a little bulk where the wing is going to go. It's really important now when we do the Wally Wing that we keep it tight to this deer hair. Okay, so to take this, I'm going to take the Wally Wing. I have an adapter here where I snipped a little bit off the end. Take the Wally Wing, I'm going to cut it. Same thing, I'm going to cut it back here. If you don't know how to tie these, there's a ton of videos. But basically I'm pinching toward the end. I'm grabbing the same amount of strands on each side. Same amount of fibers. Pulling it back and getting a general idea of what the wing's going to look like. I wet the tips. Looks like that. Pushing it through the adapter. When it comes out the other side, I'm going to take it and make the wing as large as I want it. As you can see right here, I don't have the same amount of strands. So I'm going to pull it right through. Get that same amount there. Okay. Again, through the adapter. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take the wing one size no bigger than the fly. I'm guessing right about here. I'm going to lay it literally right where the deer hair ends. And catching it on the deer hair, the part where I tied down right in front of the deer hair. Okay, I want to make sure it stays on the top and even. Okay, so what I usually like to do here is I'll take a hit it with a little bit of head cement. And I'll just help hold it in place. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to take this part, I'm going to cut it, pull it up, snip it right along. All I want to do is I want to leave enough in here to catch the hackle. Maybe 2 wraps of the hackle, and that's it. I'm going to take this one and pull it all the way back, and where it's already got the deer, where the deer hair was pulled down, I'm going to dam it up. So I can get this wing standing nice and straight, just like that. Okay, we want to make sure it's straight up. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the Wally Wing so I can split the wings, because there's a way I attach the stems that helps secure the Wally Wing. So I'm going to pull this one back. Okay, I'm going to trim this off. Right down to the bottom here. Just snip these little tops off. Okay, and that'll give me my Wally Wing. Right, and pull back a little bit. Make sure to secure it in there. Bring the thread forward. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to take my 2 feathers. I'm going to take my grizzly hackle tip, or not the tip, but the feather itself. And I'm going to take a brown hackle, which is right here. I'm going to match them. I'm going to put them on top of each other, just like I did the tail. So I want the tip to be out there where the other tip is. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to trim them so they're the same size. And make sure that they're both arched down. I'm going to grab the 2 stems. I'm going to trim the hair off them. And what I like to do is just leave a little bit of the fibers so it gives the thread something to catch on. Now I'm going to go to the first fibers, pinch it back, I'm going to lay it right on top of between the wings. Just like that. I'm going to pull this down, and that's going to help separate my wings. Get it in there nice and tight. pull this back, catch those two stems right there, pull them down. And that locks everything in place really nice. And it keeps my wings spread apart. So it keeps my wings spread apart, which I like. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to grab the two fibers right here, or the two feathers, and I'm going to grab some pullers. Now, get this thread out of the way. And of course, if you have a bobbin holder, you can put it on there or whatever. I like knowing where it is, thread is, so I'm going to clamp these two in here, and I'm going to start wrapping them. Nice and easy. All I want to do is get two wraps right behind the ears. Or right behind the ears, right behind the wings. Okay, now I'm going to pick the wings up so I know they're not getting caught in there. Then I'm going to try and get two wraps in the front, being mindful right underneath the wings. And then the second wrap right in the front, leaving yourself room for the eye. And it could get tricky. Let's do it this way. There we go. Okay, get the second wrap in here. Alright, once the second wrap's in, we're going to tie that in place. Just lock that in place. Alright, I'm going to snip this part off. Okay, so what I want to do next is take it all, pull it all back. Moving everything off the eye. Okay, then I have a piece of little piece of rubber hose. I took it and cut an end so it slides right there, kind of holds everything in place. Trim this piece off. There we go. Okay. There we go. Catch that odd piece in there. Okay, now I'm just going to get my head. I'm going to take it and give it two wraps, or 3 or 4 whips in here. Plenty of room on the eye. Okay. Bit of bead cement, head cement. Trim this up here. Again, making sure we keep everything off the eye. This is an easy fly to really crowd that eye, especially when you're trying to get two wraps in front of the wings. Okay, so now I'm just going to take it, pitch it forward. here is a number 10 irresistible Wally Wing. So what I like to do here is adjust the fly, make sure it's all cleaned up. And there we have the irresistible Wally Wing. Okay, I want to thank you for watching. This is George of Fun with Flies, and have a good day.